All right, so you know we love to
What
dig
is
into
it?
these weird
Is
stories,
it a
and you sent
chupacabra?
me a real humdinger this week.
Oh, yeah, this one is
It's a
right up our
mysterious
alley.
creature.
Definitely strange.
So we're talking about this creature sighting in Pueblo, Colorado. Seems like this woman, Janay Lynn, caught something really bizarre on camera. Got some pretty interesting footage.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's really sparked a lot of discussion online. Lots of people trying to figure out what it could be.
Exactly. So we're going to dive deep today, just you and me, and we're going to take a good look at what Janay Lynn herself actually said happened based on this news article you sent over.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. Let's really break down the details of the encounter, look at all the different theories that have come up.
Right, because some of them are pretty out there.
Oh, for sure.
And then, by the end of this, we're going to try to give everybody listening a clearer picture of what might have gone down in Pueblo. What are the key takeaways from all of this?
Absolutely.
So, first things first. The article lays out a timeline, and it says that Janay first saw this creature on a Monday afternoon,
Okay, Monday afternoon.
just out in the road in front of her house. And what really freaked her out was that it didn't run away when it saw her, just kind of stared at her, which gave her chills.
Yeah, I can see why that would be unnerving. Most wild animals would have a natural fear response to a human, especially in close proximity like that. So that right there is already a little bit odd.
Totally. And the article even said that when she told other people about it at first, they didn't really believe her.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's understandable. People tend to be skeptical
true.
about these sorts of things. And, it takes a pretty compelling story to get past that initial disbelief, right?
Yeah, that's true. But then it happened again.
Oh, no.
So Saturday night rolls around, and Janay had put out some food for stray cats. You know how people do.
Right.
And guess who shows up for dinner?
No way. The creature.
The creature's back, chowing down on the cat food. So she grabbed her phone and started filming.
Smart move. Always good to document these things if you can, especially if nobody believes you the first time.
Yeah, exactly. And she was trying to scare it off while she was filming, but it just kept staring at her, no fear whatsoever.
Wow. So it's comfortable enough to come back to a food source, but still exhibits this strange lack of fear towards humans.
I know, right? And the article said that Janay even said she felt mortified.
Mortified, like really creeped out.
Yeah, like a deep, unsettling feeling.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just not normal animal behavior. Something's not adding up.
No kidding. So, of course, this video makes its way online.
Oh, here we go.
And all of a sudden, everyone's got a theory. And
Yeah.
two big ones really jumped out from the article.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Hit me with them.
All right, so number one, the Chupacabra.
Oh, wow. Going straight to the legendary cryptids. I like it.
Mysterious creatures said to prey on livestock and drain their blood.
Right, right. And, the Chupacabra legend,
It's a blood
it's
sucking
primarily
creature.
associated with parts of Latin America, so Pueblo, Colorado. It's a pretty far cry from its usual stomping grounds.
Yeah, it is. But you know how it is with the internet? A strange creature pops up, and boom, Chupacabra is always one of the first things people jump to.
Yeah, it's like this instant connection that people make. They see something unexplained,
Yeah.
and their minds just go to those pre-existing mythical creatures. It's fascinating, really.
It is. And speaking of fascinating, the second big theory from the article, the skinwalker.
Okay, now we're getting into some serious folklore here.
No kidding.
Skinwalker?
And this one is particularly interesting because it comes from Navajo tradition.
Right, and for those who might not be familiar with skinwalkers, they're basically shapeshifters, powerful beings that can take on the form of animals.
Yeah. And it's not just some spooky story. For the Navajo people, it's a deeply held belief, something very real and sacred.
Exactly. So we're not just talking about cryptids now. This is entering the realm of spiritual beliefs and cultural traditions, which adds a whole other layer of complexity to the story.
It really does. And, it's interesting to think about the difference between those two theories. The Chupacabra is more like, a creature, a mystery to be solved. But the skinwalker is tied to a whole belief system.
Right. One is rooted in mystery, the other in spiritual belief.
Yeah.
And the fact
So
that both
it's
of those
Chupacabra
explanations
or
popped up
Skinwalker?
online, it really shows just
Comment it
how
below.
strange and how open to interpretation this whole situation is.
It does. I mean, are we dealing with a real creature here, or is this venturing into something more, I don't know, supernatural?
Yeah, it really makes you wonder.
The article also mentions some more, down-to-earth guesses. People were throwing out ideas like raccoons, badgers. Someone even said maybe a wolverine.
Right, trying to fit it into some kind of known animal category.
Yeah, but Janay is pretty adamant that it was nothing like that.
And I think that's important to note. She lives in the area. She probably sees these animals all the time. So for her to say it's definitely not any of those, that hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, you got to trust the eyewitness to a certain extent, right?
Absolutely. And there's this quote from Janay in the article that really stuck with me. She said, "That's why it's so scary. No one can even figure out what it is."
That's a great quote. Really sums up the whole mystery of this thing, doesn't it?
What do
It's
you
not
think on
just that it
this?
looks strange, it's that it's completely unfamiliar.
It is. And that unfamiliarity, that's what really gets under people's skin. It makes you question what you think you know about the world around you.
Totally. Okay, so let's get into what this thing actually looked like, according to Janay's description in the article. She said the face was kind of rat-like,
Rat-like. Okay, interesting.
with small eyes that were set pretty far apart.
Small eyes, far apart.
Yeah. And it had a long, pointy nose and a mouth that she also compared to a rat's mouth.
Okay, so those are some pretty specific facial features that she's describing. Not exactly your typical raccoon or badger.
Nope. And then the article says it had this thick, coarse fur that was like a chocolate brown color. And get this, long arms and legs.
Oh,
Long arms and legs. Okay,
Yeah.
this is getting even weirder.
It is. She estimated it to be about 2.5 feet tall.
2.5 feet tall, so not tiny,
2.5
but
feet
not huge either.
Right. And she really emphasized in the article that she sees raccoons all the time where she lives. And this was definitely not a raccoon.
Right, so she's drawing a clear distinction between this creature and the animals she's used to seeing. This isn't just a case of mistaken identity.
No way. And the story gets even crazier. So word starts getting around town about this creature. People are curious.
Oh, I bet. Small town, something weird happens. Everybody wants to see for themselves.
Exactly. And some people actually went over to Janay's house to see if they could catch a glimpse of it. And get this. When they got there, the creature was in her trash can.
No way. So this thing is pretty comfortable around humans and their stuff, at least when there's food involved.
Yeah, seems
so
like
the
it.
creature was
But then it got
recorded.
spooked and ran off down the street and ended up hiding in a drainage ditch.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you get a bunch of people coming at you, you'd probably want to hide too.
Definitely. But here's where it gets really creepy. Someone shined a light into the ditch to try and see it, and the creature let out this hissing sound.
Oh,
A hiss. Like a snake. Or like a cat.
The article didn't specify, but it said it was so freaky that everyone just decided to leave.
Wow. So whatever this thing is, it's not only got a weird appearance, but it's got a sound that's unsettling enough to scare people off.
Yeah, this thing's got it all. Looks, sound, mysterious behavior. What more could you ask for in a creepy creature feature?
I know, right? It's like something straight out of a movie.
So naturally, the news outlet that ran the story reached out to the Colorado Department of Wildlife to see what they thought.
Makes sense. You got to get the official word from the experts.
Right. And their take was it could be a raccoon with mange.
Mange. So that's a skin disease that can really mess up an animal's fur and make them look pretty different.
Yeah. The spokesperson in the article mentioned that it can cause hair loss, thicken their skin, and even make them act differently. And, they pointed to the creature's size and the way it was using its front paws as possible indicators that it could be a raccoon.
Okay. So they're looking at the available evidence, considering what's common in the area, and trying to find the most logical explanation.
Exactly. And the spokesperson did admit that it's hard to say for sure without more evidence, which is fair.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's tough to make a definitive ID from just a video and a description, especially when you're dealing with something that looks so unusual.
For sure. But Janay was having none of it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She flat out said, I get raccoons here every night, and this is definitely not a raccoon.
Well, there you go. I mean, she's the one who saw it up close and personal, multiple times.
Exactly. So who are we to argue?
Yeah, she's got firsthand experience that nobody else does.
Totally. And the article wrapped up by talking about how this whole thing has really spooked the people in Pueblo.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, something like this happens in your town, and suddenly everything feels a little bit less safe, a little more mysterious.
Right. It's like, what else is out there lurking in the shadows that we don't know about?
Exactly. And the article said that people are still talking about it, still debating whether it could be something like a chupacabra or a skinwalker.
It's like that thing we were talking about earlier. People are drawn to the unknown.
I think
they
it's
want
like
to
an
find an
chupacabra.
explanation, even if it means going
What do you
beyond
think?
the realm of what we consider normal.
It's true. We crave explanations, especially for things that scare us or that we don't understand.
So let's do a quick recap here. What have we learned from this deep dive? We've got this really bizarre creature sighting. We have Janay Lynn's firsthand account and video evidence. And we've got a whole spectrum of theories ranging from a sick raccoon to mythical beings.
Yeah, and despite the wildlife officials offering a possible explanation, we still end up with more questions than answers.
Right. Like, was it really just a mangy raccoon? Or was it something completely different? Something we don't have a name for, something truly unknown.
Yeah, and that brings up a whole other set of questions, like what would it actually take to prove or disprove any of these theories? What kind of evidence would be convincing enough to settle the debate once and for all?
And, thinking back to all those specific details that Janay described, the rat-like face, those wide-set eyes, maybe there are some other possibilities out there that we haven't even considered.
That's a great point. I mean, we tend to focus on the explanations that are familiar to us. But what if this creature is something truly unique, something that falls outside of our existing categories?
Exactly. I mean, it's easy to dismiss something as a misidentified raccoon or a hoax, but what if there's more to it than that? What if Janay really did stumble upon something extraordinary?
And that's what makes this whole story so captivating. It reminds us that there's still a lot we don't know about the world around us. There are still mysteries out there waiting to be solved.
It really makes you think. So for anyone listening, if you've ever had an experience like this, or if you've got your own theory about what Janay Lynn might have encountered in Pueblo, Colorado, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, share your thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going.
Who knows, maybe together we can get a little closer to the truth, whatever that may be.
Or maybe we'll just end up with more questions. But hey, that's part of the fun, right?
Absolutely. So until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your minds open. You never know what you might find out there.
And maybe check your trash cans before you take the garbage out, just in case.
Good advice.
Thanks.